Ooh, we're live. That little ring means that if you hit the notification bell on this channel, ComicTom101, that you're being notified through the powers of the internet somewhere on Spaceship Earth that I am broadcasting from here in the studio with my friend Bueller.
Hi, Tom. How you doing tonight, man? Full warning, everybody. I'm a little under the weather, so I might not be my jolly self, but, you know, we got Tom here, and he's a ball of energy, so he'll keep this party rolling.
All right. This is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we do it. All right. We have the chat here. What can we say about the chat? First off, thank you so much to everybody who's joining us today. We have a fun little show today. We're talking about, well, first off, I want to talk to you about a little tip. Bueller, you've been doing YouTube videos for a year now, and in that year you've learned a lot. I know because I've learned a lot, and you've been doing it as long as me. You literally started this same month as I did. We started together this YouTube journey. If you had one tip you can provide someone who is like starting out their YouTube channel, or they're like just starting to make content for the comic book community, what would it be?
As far as collecting wise goes, Tom?
I mean, like making videos and making content for the community, participating.
You know what? The easiest thing, and my tip would be, is just turn the camera on and press record. That's the biggest tip I can do. And as far as a little bit more detailed, when you do that, do yourself a favor and put the word comic or comic book in the title of your video. Trust me, that goes a long way.
Absolutely. I'll do you another favor here, comic book community. Something you can do is in the description of every one of your videos that you do, if you do a hashtag and you include that hashtag in the body of the description somewhere, it doesn't matter where it is. I put mine at the very end. You can put it at the top. Don't worry, it doesn't matter because it's not going to be seen in the description. It's going to be seen at the very top in blue text. I'm sure you've seen that on some videos, and that hashtag is how it gets thrown out into the ether. So if you're making a video, you're putting it out to the community, and you're talking about Thanos, you're talking about comic books, you're talking about Marvel comics, do yourself a favor, do the hashtags, those 3 hashtags, put those in the description somewhere. It's going to be thrown to the very top, and you'll be thrown into that algorithm. Let's jump into our discussion today, because we're talking about not collecting comic books. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel a little weird because it's going against the grain.
I know. I want to go against the grain a little bit because, you know what, we talk about some stuff that's against the grain, but I think as long as we provide value for the community, I think that it's going to be okay. Because first off, obviously, Bueller, I'm not telling people not to buy comic books they like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know. This video is for a different type of collector. This video is not for the person coming on board, you know, just starting out. This video is for the person who has a goal in mind and who wants to get that grail as a centerpiece of their collection.
Ooh, well put. Very well put. So I want to start this video out with a quick little how to, we can bang this through real quick, Bueller. I want to talk about how to collect comic books real quick. This is an easy thing. We could spend so many videos going about like, this is how you do it, but we can knock this out in 8 points, I think, because if you Google how to collect comic books, you're going to see these 8 points literally on your screen. This is out of 85 million search results. Like Google went through with their analytics, and they put together this list together in half a second for you, for us. And let's dive into it, because number one, this is how to start out. And then we're going to get into our discussion about why you shouldn't buy comic books you love. At least, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Say it one more time, Tom. What did you just say?
I said you shouldn't buy comic books you love.
Oh my God. Do you see all those thumbs downs that are starting right now?
Oh, they're already there. You know what? Sunshine and lollipops. Let's do it, my friend. All right.
My God.
All right. So we got number 1 on the list, because if you're a new collector, I'm not this, you know, this isn't, I mean, our content's for everybody, but you know, if you're a new collector, I don't want you to feel like we're not touching on some very easy things we can cover real quick if we can. So method 1 for buying comics, you know, if you're new and you want to just get into it, you want to get your feet wet, you want to jump in, well, this is how you do it. Number 1, you find a comic book store. Right, Bueller? It's that easy.
That's right. You find a comic store and you find a good store. You go into a comic store that has a plethora of back issues. The stores that you go into that just have current issues and just like pops and Funko Pops and posters and stuff like that, that's a great store. But you want to find a comic book store that has all the current issues and then a nice selection of back issues, because you can tell that they've been in the game for quite some time.
Ooh, I like that, because number 2 on this list here is locate other major sources, because you just said it. The average comic book shop, guess what? It ain't a comic book shop. Hate to break it to you, because the way, to me, that what defines a comic book shop is that is their main source of revenue. That is how they maintain. That's how they survive. And here's the thing. If 95, 98% of comic book stores that are brand new are closing year over year, it means that the numbers don't add up. How are comic book shops staying open? Well, they're not comic book shops. They're comic book stores and boutiques. They're comic book stores / they're really magic, tournament stores. They're not comic book stores as much as they stock new comics. But you know what? If you want to play D&D, you want to play Warhammer, those are the kind of things that are all around the world. Oh, excuse me, all around the country. If you're lucky to have this in your country, then it's probably the same deal. But here in the States, you're going to have to look for other locations, other sources to get your comics, because not every store is going to have what you look for. And Bueller just mentioned it. You're looking for a store that doesn't just have ongoing issues. You want a store that has other things there, so you can broaden that collecting. But now, Bueller, what's a good tip? Like, what would you say number 3 would be?
Locate other major sources would be something that you want to do. What would you say would be a major source?
Other major sources, kind of going in line with what you just said, and then focusing that on focusing your interest on mainstream superheroes. I think that would be the first thing to do once you find that major source here at the number 3.
Mainstream superheroes, so like Hulk 181.
Exactly. I would say you want to do things like Hulk 181. No. I'm just kidding. No, what I mean by that is when you go into the store, and if you don't have something in particular, you want to just go with something that's a little bit more, you can use Spider-Man is easy. There's going to be Spider-Man on the shelf. There's going to be Hulk on the shelf. There's going to be something on the shelf that's mainstream that you can just dive right into. And the best way you can do is talk to the person behind the counter or do some research on mainstream comics that are coming out. But Bueller, what are some other things they can do? Let's hit number 4 now.
Try out a different genre, which I don't know if I can do that, because I like my superheroes, man. It's do you like those horror comics there, Tom?
I love horror comics, but what I like about this, where it says a different genre, it doesn't mean that it needs to be absolutely different. What it means is that, actually we mentioned it here, Hulk right now, if you go on the stands, that isn't as much of a superhero comic as it is of a what would you even consider that? It's not horror, but it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's a little bit more suspense, a little bit more scary, a little bit more dark. But you think of things like Sandman. Sandman is definitely not horror, but it's definitely not major superhero. I put that more in lines with a Swamp Thing or a Constantine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and our independent publishers do a great job at bringing all those different genres to light, and they're just fantastic, because you get some different stories that you're going to get away from the traditional superhero comic books. Image does a great job with all those. Middle West, what's that one? The pirate one, Red something or whatnot. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Peter Panzerfaust.
Maybe that. Maybe that one. I don't know.
Oh well, just off the dome. By the way, if you haven't read that book, it is a book about World War II. However, all the characters that take place that are in Germany trying to survive, they are characters. Their names are Peter, and they're it's all Peter Pan characters, but it's all soldiers in World War II. And their main antagonist, that's hunting down this group of kids, is Hook, and it's World War II focused, but it's a nice little tale of Peter Pan. But again, not superhero, fantastic, independent. So yeah, it's a good point there. And then number 5 on this list of 8 is dive into the bargain bin.
Now we're talking.
Right. See, this is what makes Bueller happy here, because personally, it's one thing if you go to the store and you're like, I want to get an ongoing title, and you're spending $4 or $5 each individual comic. But as soon as you start to open the door, you're like, I have some extra spending money. I don't want to just get comic books to read them in order. I'm going to buy a number 2. I'll buy a number 5. I'll buy a number 6 if it's presented. That's going to be in the bargain bin.
Exactly. Bargain bins is where I've kind of made my thing and stuff. And I love those bargain bins. So if you can get in there, and there's so much variety to choose from, and it might just kind of open your eyes to other things that you won't be aware of, because you'll find something with a nice cover. Like, what's this? And you kind of look at it, and all of a sudden you're getting all these books for, just a fraction of the cover price. And that's a good way to start off.
Boom. I like what Pocan Joe said. I read 25 to 30 books just to do it. Blast it or stash it. There we go. Like that's, and you know what? If you're going to read 30 books, if you're going to go out right now and go buy 30 comic books, what are you going to do? You're going to spend $120 on new titles? Or are you going to go to the bargain bin and look for that 25-cent bin? You know what I mean?
That's right. And Pocan Joe is on a show called Blast It or Stash It on Sunday nights. It's a live stream with a few other gentlemen. It's a lot of fun. They go over a bunch of books and stuff like that come out during the week. And they just talk comic books. So it's pretty cool.
That is very cool. And shout out to Discovery Bay. We have a number of people, Nerdy Couch in the chat. John's Comics with Kids, our moderator here. Thank you everyone for joining us. We have Chino Comics and more. What is going on? We're going to be doing a bit more shout outs to other channels that we enjoy, because it's going to tie into our content here, because our subject isn't this. We are going through a list right now of methods of buying your first comic books, but we're going to get into the heart of the subject that we want to get into, which is don't buy comic books you love. But we'll get there. Number 6 on this list. Start with the beginning of a story arc, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a given, right? If you're new to comics, you want to get your feet wet. Story arc. What are some of the story arcs you could think of?
Story arc, Secret Wars, great story arc. You can get. That's a very widely available book. It's a limited series. They've made different volumes of it, so that's a really one that you can get into and jump in. Some other ones, and just start with a number 1 issue. Find a number 1 issue. It's a brand new series that starts over, or jumping on point. That's where you want to go, and that's where the story begins.
Absolutely. I mean, really, any shop is going to be able to give you that list, and it takes a Google search to kind of start that path, to figure out where you want to start your reading and where you want to put your money. But starting out with a story arc, it gets you on that path there, as I just said. So number 7, we have the first word that actually makes this list that we are looking for. I mean, I typed in how to collect comics, and it's not till number 7 of 8 where it says collect comics. It's the first time it says collect in this list. It says collect comics in the same series or story arc. That makes sense, right, Reeler? Like, if you're already buying stuff in the story, you're reading the story based off of characters you like, wouldn't it make sense to now branch off? I like this character. I like Ant-Man, so maybe I'm gonna go look up Second Chance Man, and there's I think there's 5 issues in that series. So that's a really fun, you can get those issues. You can collect that set. There's some variants, and then boom, now you're on your path to collecting.
Yeah, you can definitely do that, and you stay focused on that one character, because the nice thing is, in these universes, the DC universe or Marvel universe, they branch off into all sorts of different things. Very seldom do we have a story arc in this day and age that stays with its own title. So there are many tie-ins that get involved. So if you're with that character, then you might see something else, and you can jump on board to that. It'll tie in, and you'll kind of know the history before you jump into that.
Absolutely. I mean, we even have a lot of just really good examples here of like Y the Last Man. If you read Y the Last Man, you're probably going to get into Brian, and you're going to get into Saga soon after. If you look into Chew, you're going to get into Rob Gilroy, and that's going to probably get you into Farmland. So you can see how that happens, and then you're going to start recognizing those artists. You're going to start recognizing those characters. You're going to start recognizing those writers. And then number 8 on the list, the last tip that Google has provided us: follow a character or universe. You follow that, that's going to lead you to the collecting. Now, Bueller, that right there is a rundown of how you get into comics. We just did that in 4 minutes. Okay. Now I want to talk about, you're on Instagram. This is the heart of the video here. You're on Instagram. You're looking at all of these comics that are being posted. You're seeing people post 181s. You're seeing people post 180s. I mean, D Stingley, who just did a $2 super chat, we do appreciate you for doing that, says, "What up, guys? I just got my Hulk 180.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's an awesome key. That was one of the first bigger keys that I purchased. That was like on my list of like the first 10 that I'm like, I got a gun for that, because I ain't gonna afford a 181. So I'm gonna go for that 180. So I want to talk about just that, Bueller, because at the very beginning of this conversation, I mean like when I talked to you about this, I said, Bueller, I have an idea for a show. I want to say the show is about not collecting what you love.
Yeah.
And then why? I posed this as a question to you, and what was your response back?
You asked me what's the first thing that came to mind. I said, buy what you like. Buy what. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah,
and you said nope.
I'm like, that's gonna be the thumbnail. Don't do that. Because here's the thing. I'm a Hellboy collector right now. Everybody knows I'm a Hellboy collector. And if you came to me as a Hellboy collector, and then this has happened, by the way, I've been getting hit up on Instagram all the time. People do that. I welcome that. ComicTom101 over on Insta. Bueller, what's your Insta?
At Comics with Bueller.
Perfect. Over there, I get DMs. I message people back and forth. And because Hellboy's been my character of choice that I've been collecting aggressively over this last decade or longer now, I've been asked a lot of questions about which books to get. And I'm always honest about it. I haven't purchased a Hellboy book for myself in over a year.
Yeah.
Now, Bueller, I'm a comic book collector. I'm in the hobby. I do it because I like it. I'm an enthusiast. I'm well versed in the Mignolaverse. And as that person who people, ask me questions about it, I tell them, no.
Yeah.
I do not recommend buying that. I love it. Buy comics you love. But you know what? In this moment, 2019, and this is March 5th, I do not recommend that. I actually think that today is the worst time to be buying Hellboy comics. Now, if you are, okay, because what are we talking about, Bueller? If you are going to collect comic books, if you're going to get a comic book, and it depends on what your particular situation is. If you have funds to buy whatever you want, like if you know what, I want this collection, and you have the money to do it. You want this comic book, you have the money to do it, and it doesn't matter. Boom, you buy what you want. That's the real answer. If you buy what you love, well, I love Tales of Suspense, and I want every single one of those comics in 9.0. All right, cool. Do you love it? You can buy it. Anyone can do that. But realistically, that's like not our position here. Like 90% of our community isn't in that position, right? So how are people getting these comics, Bueller?
Well, here's the thing, and this is what we were talking about. So if you have a goal, and I have a goal, which is a Hulk 181, okay, and I want to get to that goal, the best thing for me to do to get that goal is not to buy what I love, but buy what will help me to get to that goal. That is what I need to focus on. Now, that means in the meantime, I'm going to buy other things that aren't going to be on my want list or love list or whatever you want to call it, but it's going to help me get to where I want to be, the 181. I referenced that documentary I saw that one time about the guy with the paperclip, and he just traded up from a paperclip to a cup of coffee to something, and by the time when he was done, he bought like a car with just a paperclip. That's kind of how you have to look at this in order to get these books at an affordable price. Because if you can take a $5 investment, okay, on something and flip that for $10 and take that $10 and turn it, and then turn it and turn it and turn it, and then you get to that 181, and their initial cost was $5, that's a pretty darn good deal.
Absolutely. I mean, and really what it comes down to when you are hunting for books, I think we can break this down to a couple different points here, because Google did it in 8 to get you there. Like this is get you started. But now I'm thinking you've been involved, as a community. I'm just this person's hypothetical. As a person who's collecting comics, I imagine someone's going and dropping every week, going to their comic book store. They're buying ongoing comics. They'll pick up a couple back issues here and there. But as far as getting to those really expensive books, I mean, those moments where you're like, you know what, it hurts, but I'm so happy I'm getting it. I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some tips there. Because the very first tip is, you don't want to collect what you love. Oh, what does that mean? Well, at the very beginning, if you just mentioned Hulk 181, right? That's your
my personal grail that I've always
wanted, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you want is a Hulk 181. And if you were to say, Tom, like, I want to get Hulk 181, I would ask, okay, well, first off, is there a girl you want because is there a particular grade? Like I would ask those kind of like, if there's a follow-up to that, because you don't talk about dropping 15, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Heck, I'm seeing 9.8s. Oh my goodness, going for way too much right now. But you know what? Who am I to say? Because, comic book prices they're all over the place. This right now, I can definitively say is the most this book has ever been. So no, why would you want to buy the book right now? I mean, unless you are buying it as a gift and you're not planning on doing anything else besides having that comic book. But this is my argument. The average person who's in a position to get a Hulk 181, they're not buying it to own it for the rest of their lives. They're buying it to start their path on building their collections. Even if that person says, this is the only one I want. How often do we see people on Instagram who say that? And the next thing you know, they're upgrading. But you know what? It's 0.5 higher. It's just a 0.5 higher. And the next thing you know, they're not doing what they're saying. They're not doing what they're saying. Now,
that's a hard thing to do, man. It's hard. It's a hard thing to to not pull the trigger on stuff like that, Tom.
It is, but now the Hulk 181, that's a major grail. So if you're in the market to do that, it's like it's right time. And if you are, it depends what you're looking for. I want to make sure that that's known here, because who are we to tell you what you should and shouldn't collect? All right. But I'm talking about those who look at some major grails, and realistically, you're looking at your comic book collection and maybe you're not happy with it. Maybe there's stuff in your collection and you're going, how do I get to that point where I can post and be part of that club of buyers who have a Iron Man 55, and you're thinking, I don't want to give my whole paycheck to that, but that's how you do it, right? Yeah. Well, no, because if you are buying what you love all the time, then you're going to basically be paying maximum market value all the time. Hellboy right now is not smart to buy. So as a Hellboy collector, I'm telling you, probably don't want to do that. But as a Saga collector, I'm definitely going after a lot of Saga right now. And we recently reported on the Not 10 list about the retail incentive going down about a third in price.
Yeah, and you know, it's hard to take emotion out of it, Tom. And let's be honest, you know, we see the books on the shelf, and you know, even though we're focused on something, it's hard to pass on something, and it takes away from our final goal. So this is easier said than done. Let's be honest.
Well, it's because of number 2 on this list here. And you know what? Someone beat us to it. I'm looking here at the chat. Thank you so much to everybody who's currently joining us in this discussion here. And in the chat, I want to make sure to give a shout out who said it, but it's patience. Number 2 on the list is patience. And I swear I just saw it here. But whoever said it, if you see it, Bueller, please give him a shout out, because that's the truth. That's the next part of this, is patience. The biggest thing is that if you are patient on a book, you're not going to put money down on something that, you know, at the wrong time. I mean, that's what that's the goal, right? So when you are in the position of going into a comic book store and you get excited about something, you see multiple copies on the shelf, you see like 10 copies, you can either buy 1, 2, 3, or 10. Now, if you buy all 10, what are you doing? You're dropping close to $50 after tax if they're all $3.99 cover price. And if you only should have bought 2 in that moment, and you do that 4 times a month, at the end of the month, what can you have put that money to? You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You can put it towards your ultimate goal. And by the way, there's no tax in Oregon.
You pay it on a different way, my brother.
Yeah, I know. I just like pointing that out to you, buddy.
I know. You're always representing Portland down there. That random soda you get. What is that called again?
What's
the soda you guys drink over there?
RC? That's
RC?
It's not.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, you go to, like, I want to get a Coke. Oh, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't serve Coke. Oh, Pepsi's fine. I don't know, we don't serve that either. We serve RC.
It stands for Royal Crown. It's been around forever.
RC stands by is RC.
And moon pies. Do you know what moon pies are?
I do know what a moon pie is.
Well, there you go.
That little food that's like RC, not really food. Moon pie.
It's a tradition, man.
Wow, we get like applets and cutlets, apple juice. We have a really good apple situation out here in Washington. The water's great too. We got mountains, but you know what? You guys got your mud pies. What is it? Mud pie? That's good too.
Oregon and Washington are pretty much the same state.
Oh my gosh, no, they are not. No, they are not the same.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I can't wait to get you up here, brother. Soon. Okay, well, patience, right? You want to be patient, but it's not just patience. Patience is a big part of it, but it's knowledge too. Ty Lopez, knowledge, right? Right, Bueller? Because if you start to get into this, patience means that you are going to be in that position where, all right, do I wait to buy this? Do I put that on the side because it's too expensive right now? Do I commit and buy multiple copies of something that, you know what, I want it to be worth something, but I'm not really sure, and you're going to gamble. Patience could be like that as well. You know, you're waiting to kind of see what happens. But then there's knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is everything, man. And now with the internet, this is where it is like, this is like where we come in. This is where we can help. This is where the community helps. I want to talk about people providing just quality information, Bueller, that you could use to help learn about comic books. Because here's at the end of the day, if your goal is to get this grail and your goal is to just buy that grail, and you're going to be focused, you're that narrow focus for that one deal that just happens to line up with the other comics that you invested in, and you're waiting for that person to be like, you know what, I wanted these 3 books and I have this grail here, and you're waiting for that deal to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. You have to work your way up to that. And all on that time as you're waiting, you're going to miss out on stuff. You're going to miss out on stuff in those bins. You're going to be missing out on stuff because you don't know, because your narrow focus is on that 181. If you know about other comic books, even characters that you may not even be as familiar with or that you may not even enjoy that much, you're not going to miss out on opportunities.
Yeah.
And those opportunities can lead you to success.
That's right. You know, I was just in the comic shop last week, and they had a book sitting in the case I've been wanting for a while. It's Iron Man #1. And I just about pulled the trigger, but the one thing that's on our list here is don't be impulsive. And I was being impulsive, and I almost did it. I walked out the door, rethought it, and I said, you know what? As much as I want that book, it's not the one I really want. So impulsiveness can be a killer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Impulsiveness is typically the points where we spend more money than we should. I can't tell you how many collections that I buy. Like, this is my evidence here. This is how I know that this happens. The average collection that will buy is someone who wants to move everything because they're done, right? And typically what you can learn a lot about how people collect based off of their collections. And there have been countless times where I've bought collections where it's literally one, like it's how would it look? If this person was a DC, you know, a lot of DC titles, it would look like, you know, Batman, it doesn't matter. These numbers don't make it. It doesn't matter what numbers these are. But let's just say Batman issue 6, then it says Detective number 13, and then it's Aquaman this, and then it's Batwoman this, and then it's Catwoman this, and then it's right back to Batman, and then it's the same titles over and over again, and they're all together. What does that mean when that happens, Bueller?
I don't know.
It means that person went to their shop, they bought their comic, they put them in their box, and then they left them, and they went back to their shop the next week and bought more comics and put them in their box and then left them, and then back to their shop. And I, like, for real, like, a lot of collections look like that. They're mixed up.
You and Russ were talking about that one time. I remember that on one of your videos. But hey, Tom, I want to take a quick second. We got over 190 people watching right now.
Holy smokes. Is that a record for us, Bueller?
I think it might be. And I want to take a minute to tell everyone who's watching whether, you know, we appreciate you taking the time to watch us. And whether you agree with us or like us or don't like us, you know, thank you so much for just taking the time to watch us and say hello. You know, this is a lot of fun. Me and Tom really enjoy doing this. And, you know, like Tom said, we're going to be doing this till the day I die. So, but thanks to everyone. And there was a couple of super chats in here. I think we missed it.
Oh, let's make sure we hit that. Well, I know Buy and Sell over here, who is encouraging the conversation by saying, well, you know what, if you buy and sell, you'll get to the grails you want.
Yep, buy and then Stingley had another super chat. Buy other keys like X-Men 266, which is Gambit, and New Mutants 98, which is obviously Deadpool. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high, man. That's the key right there. That's
right. I mean, and you know, when we talk about buying low, sell high, what does that actually mean? Because I think that in most situations, it doesn't sound that great, right? I mean, it's capitalism when it really comes down to it. Buy low, sell high. But really, what we're as a comic book dealer, as people in this community, what we're actually doing is finding people who care about the books maybe more than you do. I'm hearing a click, by the way, Bueller. Be careful with that. But there is a, you know, buying low, sell high is a thing, as well as trading as well. I can't tell you how many deals happen where you are putting stuff into it based off of trades. And a lot of people right now, this is just a great shout out to all the people who are taking advantage of this this craze behind Immortal Hulk. I am seeing a ton of people who are going out, and this is really cool, because, like, what does this look like at in an actual sense? Like, what is actually happening out there in the community? There's people who are going on YouTube, spending time in auctions. They're spending time watching, you know, channels like yours, like Reggie. Shout out to Keynote Comics, who hit 100 subs today. We got Discovery Bay here in the chat. A lot of really cool YouTube channels that people are pumping out free, consistent, awesome content. They're learning about what's going on. Mind you, Immortal Hulk, that's only popping because the community, the internet community, this community of collectors that were like, oh, it's collectors, they spend money on expensive paper. They don't have an influence on the community. Yeah, look at this run. Look at what we did to this run. This is a run that had under 10,000 print count for some time. And now look where it's at. And people are freaking out about it. So these individuals are going to watch these, they get the information and then they go in their car and then they drive to their store. And some of these people have to drive from store to store to store to store, and they're buying stuff at stores, at stores, at stores. They're helping their local comic shops. They're going through, they're hunting, they're interacting with the people there. They're hunting, they find the books, they go back home, they post the books, they share the books, they get the books in the right hands, and they're getting money for the extra copies. They're getting money for maybe the copies they don't care as much about. They're grading them and they're putting them towards stuff they want. While right now, we have some die-hard Immortal Hulk fans, like collectors, people who are like hunting for this stuff. They want all the variants. They don't just want the variants. They want them slabbed, man. There's people who are like, I want that first 9/9. I want it. They're gunning for it. They can't stop thinking about it. I know. I've been there. I've been there with 9/9s. Like, I've been there. So I know these people. I am one of these people. Not for this particular run, but I am one of these people. Don't get me wrong. And it's for those people that, like, that whole rigmarole, that hunting, that like getting on the ground and searching through bins and buying the books at cover, slightly above cover price, and having stores go, yeah, take it. It's awesome. How many times are you seeing Instagram posts of people going, I told the store owner this was worth more money, and they said, just take it. Yeah. I'm happy you came in.
Yeah, I see it quite a bit, especially with that run. That run is kind of an anomaly right now, which is just pretty awesome to think, because it's strictly story based, and the word of mouth every week it gets better and better and better, and people are buying third printings, fourth printings, fifth printings, all the variants, all that good stuff. And really, I don't see it slowing down on that series, because it's just so awesome. And of course, the covers on those books are just, they knock it out of the park.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a particular run that if you go and do the work and you want to flip the book, you feel good about getting that book in the hands of someone else, because there are people who don't have local comic shops around. Yeah. I can't tell you how many books we send out. Now that we've started the mail call, it's close to like 5% of our mail calls, and it's a growing number because we ship international. It's going out of the country to people who are like, I can't get comics in Australia. Like, I just can't get them. There's I have stories of people who live in Spain as well as Australia that I only know because I've been sending them comic books over this last like 7-8 years, because they can't get comic books otherwise. And we have some crazy Mignola collectors in Spain that are willing to pay whatever they can to get Mignola books, as well as in Australia, like G.I. Joe. Like, I got a couple G.I. Joe guys in Australia because they were former veteran, once a veteran, always a veteran, but they're a veteran out here in the States, and then they live out there in Australia and they collect G.I. Joe, but they can't get G.I. Joe over there. Yeah. So like, they're willing to pay what they have to, and they're willing to pay $50 freaking to get it shipped to them. So there are people who are willing to pay what some of us may go, yeah, but you can get it for cover price if you look hard enough. Well, yeah, if you go through the freaking work, if you go through the work and you do the practice of knowing your guide, you're watching a ton of awesome content here on Instagram or on YouTube and on Instagram. You're learning from these people. You can take that knowledge, apply it, get the books, and move the books. Sell them, trade them, whatever you can to build up to something that you actually really, really want.
That series is a perfect example of a great series that you can use right now at its height to flip that book and put that towards your ultimate grail that you've wanted for a long time. And that's actually something I've thought about doing. I have that whole run, and it's great. But, I have a commitment that I've committed to getting the Hulk 181. And how do I get that commitment? I do stuff like this. I get books like this that I can get at a smaller price, and then I flip that book to help me to get my ultimate grail, which is a 181.
There you go. I have a couple ultimate grails that I've put down. Like I've said, all right, I'm going to put it on the side, on the back burner. And here's the reason why I'm glad I did that, because this is my final point that I want to make, and that I want to jump into. I want to talk about some channels here on YouTube that I've been just super excited about. I want to hit the chat, and I want to kick it over to you, Bueller, for any last words. But my one big tip here that I can tell you from my experience in dealing comics and being in this community for my whole life, and seeing the evolution of a novice collector, or even a green collector, someone who's never read comics, to watching that person go from there to pushing like specializing in subjects that I'm not even good in. Like people that have gone off to become very well versed in genres as well as artists and characters that I couldn't even touch. I've seen that transition happen with people. And there's one thing that's common between every single one of them. like every single one of them. It doesn't get talked about enough, but it has to. It has to be brought up, because if you're talking about investing, if you're talking about putting your freaking paycheck towards this stuff, if you're talking about dropping money on books, expensive paper. So we're talking about.
That's right.
Well, my biggest tip here is it changes for every single one of them. That's it. At the end of the day, every single one of them, you ask them at the very beginning stage of their collecting what they want. What is their best vision, like their epitome of what will make them happiest? What will get you to stop collecting? Like what grail does it need to be? What grade? Like what is it? No matter what it is, look at that person in 5 years. Look at that person in 10 years. Look at that person in 20 years.
Yeah.
Their grails have changed. That $1,000 book, they don't care about anymore. They probably had 3 of them and they don't care about anymore. And they're probably looking at 10 other books that they didn't even know existed at the start of their collecting. So my last and final tip is, if you're doing all of these things, keep that in mind, that what you want right now is likely going to change in the future. And the only way that you're going to be able to be ready for that change is by practicing, by learning, by expanding your knowledge, and really just diving deep into this hobby, this trade, this profession. Because as you dive deep, well, a lot of us end up in the deep end. So a lot of us end up in the gold. A lot of us end up with the high grades. Like a lot of, I mean, it's just, and that's just what this hobby, it's what it does. It gets you to the point where you look at one book that you really liked. You know, I think of like Spider-Man 300. That was like oh my goodness, for me, I need that book. I need that book. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And now I think back and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a common book. Like, it's a cool book. I think it's great. I get them all the time. I got 3 of them right now. But you know what? As far as grails go, that wouldn't even, like, if you were to say, name your 50 grails, that wouldn't even make my top 50. So, but Tom, 10 years ago, I would say something different.
Yeah. I think a really good idea. Another conversation we should have is, what happens after you receive your grail? What type of collector are you after you've reached the grail that you wanted, you've added that to your collection? Do you collect differently after you got that grail? Do you just add another grail to your want list? Or do you just, are you okay with what you got? And then after that, it's a whole different genre. There's a question here. I got to address this. King of the Gold State says, what grade you want, Bueller? I'm assuming that's a 181. And as far as a grade that I would be happy with, a
complete?
5 or lower. I'm a low grade guy.
No, complete. How would we just say complete? I want to see Bueller with one with stamp intact.
Oh, I don't even care about the stamp.
No. We're giving you one with the stamp. Like, that's gonna happen. Comics with Bueller ain't gonna be like,
oh, come on.
I got my 181 and it got a freaking hole in it. No, we're gonna make sure you get a complete copy.
3.5 to 5 is about right for me, man.
Oh,
just like my ladies, 3.5 to a 5. Perfect.
Oh my God, Bueller, what? Oh my God. Okay, I gotta save this feed before Bueller takes it down. Okay, so real quick, I want to jump into a couple of things, but take a look at this. I have 2 gifts because we do giveaways on this show. Bueller, you did the giveaway last week. We do giveaways all the time, whether it's on Bueller's show. You should hit the link in the description will take you over to Bueller's channel. He graces our channel once a week for sure at the minimum. And if you're following us, if you're really honest, if you're in the community, you're going to see Bueller and I pop up. Bueller, how many shows have we done like the last 2 weeks?
We've been popping up everywhere. We were on we were on Just the Rican's channel. That was a lot of fun. We were on Hopnut's channel. That was a lot of fun. And you never know where we're going to pop up because, as of late, we're kind of we kind of go together type thing. Like I said before, Tom's editor is out of town. So Tom is looking for a friend. And apparently I'm filling that position.
No, man. Honestly, what it is that we started doing content together, and now that you're part of the team and you're making appearances on the show every week, we got so much to talk about. I got to bug you with stuff. So do you have a winner picked out for last week by chance, or I can do the giveaway right now and then you can jump into that?
I do have the winner already. I already wrote it down. This was what the winner was going to get, these 4 books, and that's that one right there is autographed by Brian Michael Bendis. Okay, the winner. And I don't know who this is. Maybe you do. But the winner from last week is Big Cowboy Fan 113. So Big Cowboy Fan 113. This is it right there. Just send me an email. My email is comicswithbueller@gmail.com. And with your information, I'll make sure to get these out to you. But it's Big Cowboy Fan 113. Do you know who that is? Big Cowboy Fan 113. I don't know who that is. I'm assuming he's a Cowboy fan.
Probably the sports ball fan. Absolutely.
Sports
Absolutely.
ball. You're not allowed to say sports ball if I'm on the channel with you. Jesus.
All right. So this is what I got for the community because we've been switching it off. All right. Oh, and I want to make sure everyone knows as far as the giveaways that we do here on the community, we actually have a new email for you. So I want to just keep reminding everyone because we have like 200 plus videos that have the wrong email address and I haven't changed it. But fortunately, this is kind of a funny thing. Russ was like, "Man, I want to help you out. You're so busy with doing all this stuff." And I'm like, "Dude, I gotta chip off all these damn giveaways." Like he thought I was done for the night, and I'm like, "No, I gotta send out like 7 more packages. I gotta figure out the address and all that stuff." So he's like, "Oh, Tom, I'll just do it. Like, why don't we set up an email and I'll take on the giveaways?" And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Are you really sure?" And he said, "Absolutely, man. It'll be easy." So I'm like, "All right, man, let's do it." So I gave it to him, and the very next week, he's like, "Oh my goodness. I signed up for a job. I didn't even realize it." So it's bagsandboardsgiveaway@gmail.com. And that's going to be in the updated description going forward. But if you are, waiting on a giveaway and we haven't touched base with you, we want to be emailing that email. Well, if you email us, we're going to be making sure to get back to you no matter what. But I want to make sure everyone knows, or if you're watching a video from a month or two ago and you're like, "Oh my God, they called my name," because that actually happens a lot more than I was expecting. And we're having to go back figuring out what they want and stuff. So we have everything. We keep everything in a short box. We don't touch it. It's the giveaway box. And now it goes into our shelf at the store because Russ has a new location and he takes them on. So again, it's bagsandboardsgiveaway@gmail.com for all of our winners, except for the one that you just gave, Bueller, because you're taking care of that one. So this giveaway, I post my giveaways on Instagram. All you have to do to qualify is comment on this picture that I'm going to post. I have 2 really fun things here. I have a copy of Watchmen. It's a trade. It's one of my favorite comic books of all time. I have a Rorschach tattoo right there, straight from this Alan Moore goodness.
There's nudity in that book. Full warning.
Yeah, Bueller likes it because of the nudity. Yeah.
Okay, you got me.
I'm just kidding. Oh wait, hold up. The nudity. I just thinking about what the nudity is. I'm sorry, man.
Really?
The blue nudity? He's not nude in it, is he? No, it's just in the movie. That was an interesting take, right? To do it full nude in the movie. Anyways, let's not keep going on that. So we got Watchmen, one of the best comic books ever written. And as far as someone who is getting into comic books, this is a good way to start. This is something I think I've given everybody. This, along with Dark Knight's Returns, is something that I have multiple copies of. Not for me, because I have it digitally, and I end up reading a lot of my stuff on my phone, typically in the bathroom when I'm going to the bathroom. But that's a little TMI because Watchmen is something I have to stock up on, like, multiple copies of, because it's basically a library. And I'm like, "Oh, here, take Watchmen. Here you go." So
is that the bathroom copy?
This is not the bathroom copy. This is a copy from Big Will. Shout out to Big Will for donating a bunch of trades. I've been holding on to this for this moment when I can recommend, and we're talking about getting into comics, because this right here, this right here helps you get into it because it's 12 issues of pure comic book gold. And once you're done with it, you're going to go, "I want all the issues." There's 12 issues of Watchmen, right? There's not 13. No, there's 12 because he dies in 12.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Okay, so here we go. We also have another that's not done. I'm not done. I'm not going to just send out a trade. We do more than that here. I have an issue of Secret Wars #1.
Oh, I love that book.
This is a cool book. Bueller, you're a big fan of Secret Wars. I was kind of surprised to hear that.
I'm a huge fan of Secret Wars. It's probably one of the, well, it's not the first. The first major story arc that Marvel did was Contest of Champions, but that led into the Secret Wars. And that's where what came their toy line was from that as well. Their first toy line, the Amigos were a different kind of a loose thing that they had, but when they did the Secret Wars toy line, that's where it came. And obviously I'm a big fan of Jim Shooter, who was involved with that. Yeah. So, and I love that series. One of my favorites.
So I'm looking for a really fun panel in this particular issue because this is, I felt kind of went along the lines when we were talking about knowing comic books, about taking the time to just do your research, kind of perfect your knowledge base on comics. This is an example of one where if you know your comics, you're not going to miss out on an opportunity to maybe pick up something that you can either add to your collection, or, maybe you can just flip because you're able to hunt it down. Yeah. This particular issue, I'm looking here for the edit, or for the error.
The error in the Secret Wars. I didn't even know there was an error.
There's an error in Secret Wars 1, and I thought this was this copy. I mean, I have more than one copy, and this copy may not have the error. So I was about to show it. I have a copy of Secret Wars 1 with an error somewhere. Shoot, I hope this is it. Maybe I accidentally sent it out. Whoopsies. Yeah.
Either way, you're gonna get a copy of Secret Wars with
awesome.
or without the error. We don't
I
know.
think this is the page, and I don't think this is the error. For some reason I thought this was the error, but you know what? This isn't the error. So okay, well, some of these have the cover error. The one I'm holding, I swear this one had it, but this one doesn't. If this one doesn't, we're sending out a copy of Secret Wars 1. Anyways, it was gonna be an epic reveal that this is the error copy, and gosh darn it, I thought I had an error copy, but maybe this isn't it. All right, well, we're gonna be giving a Secret Wars 1 away, which is a cool key. And if you were able to hunt one of these down in like a cheap bin, it's definitely one you can put towards I'm super bummed, Bueller. I thought I've been holding on to this dang copy, this error copy for how long?
Sorry, man.
And it wasn't an error copy.
Yeah.
I just had Secret Wars 1 sitting on my shelf for how long? Yes. Oh, that kills me. Okay, well, darn. Okay, well, this has been on my shelf for so long, and I'm like, I gotta make content around that error. Like, I gotta send that out to somebody, and you know what? It happens. Okay, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. Secret Wars 1 is one of Bueller's favorite runs. I still think it's a cool giveaway. What do you say? We should still do it?
Yeah, do it.
Just do it? All right. All right. So
why am I smiling too? I smiled too when you did that. I'm going to be in the picture, and I smiled when you did that.
Okay, so this is what we got to do here. It's not the error. So not the error. Then what? I need a funny phrase or word. Give me some help in the comments from this post community. Because you know how this gets. It gets a little wacky, especially when Bueller's on the mic.
Yeah, I'm probably not supposed to say anything anymore.
I mean, Bueller immediately goes to nipples every time. So
who doesn't go to the nipples every time?
Blue Lady. Oh. All right, that's pretty good. That's Blue pretty good. Fuzzy Bat. D's room says Fuzzy Bat. I like that. Okay, so it's not the error.
Not the error. Fuzzy Bat.
Fuzzy Bat Blue Wang. It's a fuzzy bat. I'm not gonna put blue wing. I'm gonna put it's a fuzzy bat.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to make it too sexual. All right, here we go. All right, so we got all right, so we're giving away Watchmen and Secret Wars 1. Take a look at that. Boom. It's on my Instagram. IG Comic Fam. All you have to do is comment on that picture, and then I'm gonna put you in to win this copy of Secret Wars 1 that may or may not be the error print for whatever reason. I couldn't figure that out on the camera. I don't think it is because I thought that was that panel and it doesn't show it. And we also have a copy of Watchmen, the full trade. It's fantastic, and it was donated by Big Will, which is very cool. Comic Karma.
Awesome. Very cool, man.
Okay, Bueller. As far as channels here on YouTube that we wanted to discuss, I want to give another shout out to Keynote Comics. He's someone who's been putting out a lot of quality content. He's been editing his videos since pretty much the beginning, and yeah, he had 100 subs this last couple days.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got a few on my list here, and one of the things that I do, I usually because I have the chat right here. I'm looking at it right now. Usually I'll go back and I'll go through this live stream again to kind of read all the chats that are in there because they go fast. We kind of miss them. So there's a few that were in there from last week. Elizabeth Comics. They wrote, I want to start my own video, but do not know how to start. And Elizabeth, here's the thing. If you need any help at all, feel free to email me at comicswithbueller@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to help you out, Elizabeth Comics. Or you can get in touch with me on Instagram at comicswithbueller and just send me a message, and I'll give you some advice. I don't know if it's good advice, but I'll give it to you.
I would say when you say a lot of the troubleshooting that, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but a lot of troubleshooting that I've had this last year, it's pretty simple. Like it's just not knowing. And there was a handful of people over this last year. I'll shout out to TiVo over at Lords of the Long Box, Jim Mint. Mr. Gigi is a YouTuber that actually responded to me with some very good tips about like how to do something in Adobe that I couldn't figure out, how to do something in Photoshop that I couldn't figure out. So yeah, you can hit up Bueller or feel free to hit me up. I try to keep my response I try to keep my response time down to 4 days or less over on Instagram. So just give me some time. I try to respond quicker than that. But yeah, if you have any questions about making content, I love answering those kind of questions. You can find me on ComicTom101 on Instagram.
Very cool.
I can't talk.
I have a few more. I don't know if you've seen this one. This one is really interesting, and I wrote it down. His channel is Jeff Comic 813, and I don't know if you've seen this channel, but he does comics and he does a show called Cantonese Comic Wednesday. And he shows you his new comics for Wednesday, and then he teaches you Cantonese words at the end of the video.
That's
And it's just
awesome.
such a random thing, you know, and I thought it was really cool. I watched a few of them, and I tried to understand what he was teaching me, and I struggle with the English language, so Cantonese is not gonna work for me. But I thought it was pretty cool. And then another one is Dylan's Comics. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dylan's Comics, but this gentleman, he actually won one of your mystery mail call giveaways, I
Okay.
believe, a couple of months ago. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he had a video showing what you sent him for the mystery mail call giveaway.
I probably have seen it. I try to keep up on following anybody who posts their mail call. I try to make sure I'm following or subscribed.
And I have one more, and this is 4-color commentary. And I don't know if you've seen this channel either, Tom, but I really like this. And they just started to try to do some live streams. And the gentleman his name is Mark, and he has this, I believe there is 2 sons that are involved. It's Isaiah and Seth. And they're both younger kids, and I think it's really cool to get the family involved in doing this. You know, John's Comics with Kids does it, and I've had my kids, they're obviously a little bit older, but he has his kids involved. And Isaiah and Seth, I'm pretty sure those are the right names. I wrote them down. I didn't want to get them wrong. But 4-color commentary, another really cool channel, and they're branching out, doing live streams now, and talking about comics. So a lot of good stuff out there, man. I'm enjoying finding these new channels.
Fantastic. I also found a new channel this week, Pot.comics. Didn't know that she had a YouTube channel. Pot.comics hit me up on Instagram, and she was freaking out about her Hulk 181. Super excited that she got it. And she mentioned that, hey, I'm going to do a YouTube video on it. And I was super stoked. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's starting like a YouTube channel to post it. And then I was like, oh wait, I'm not special. She has a YouTube channel. She's been killing it. Oh yeah. So she made a fun little video showing off the Hulk 181. And yeah, I subbed, and she's in the chat. So Pop.comics is another person you can take a look at on YouTube, putting out some really cool comic book content. And yeah, beautiful.
Guys, I saw that on there. She did that video. It had the Boy Who Had Seven's box, it had my box, and it had your box. She did that one video, and I've watched her for a long time, actually, from the very beginning. Honestly, when I started doing, I don't know what took you so long, Tom. But,
man, honestly, my big thing is like, because YouTube isn't as explore friendly as Instagram. If someone posts something on Instagram, they just like I get tagged, and then I'm there. I see it, and I know I can just, or if I look up the hashtag, look at the MMC hashtag, I can go through, and I do on Instagram every month. I go through every single one of them to say hi and to make sure to check out all the mystery mail calls I've gone out. And yeah, on YouTube though, that's a little bit harder, right? Like if I'm not following a channel, I don't know that it's happening unless I'm like YouTubing myself. And even then I don't do that at all. So but fortunately on Instagram, let me know, as she did, that you have a YouTube channel. And I always go out of my way to make sure that I go in, like, if you click the link in the DMs, it opens up a browser, and you have to hit open in app, and I click that, and then I go and subscribe. So if you're making videos, especially like if you're making videos, like doing an unboxing, like, please let me know. I like seeing that you're putting the effort in, like, posting, because that all counts towards the mystery mail call giveaways that we do as well. And I like to know, I like to be able to follow and share, and and also be there if you don't like your box, and I can help. It's all good.
Tom, we got a few minutes left, and if you don't mind, how much time we got left? We can go for a little bit longer, right?
Man, we're good. Yeah, because this isn't Wednesday, so I'm not trumping on TiVo's time.
You said Trump.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts, man? We got Captain Marvel coming out this week.
Oh, I am so stoked about Captain Marvel. I'm stoked about Captain Marvel because I've been like excited to see Captain Marvel for a while. Mostly because of the 90s thing. That's been the thing that's gotten me the most excited about this movie, is that it's back in time. So within continuity, it's going to work, right? So I don't have to worry about any of the stuff. Like, I'm going into a movie that's just like, I don't know. I think I'm going to see a buddy cop movie. That's like, I don't know. I stay. This is what I do. I stay away from the critic stuff. I don't read any of that. And there's been a lot of talk about Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel over this last like 2 weeks, and we're too close to the movie for me to listen to any of that. So I just want to see the movie. I mean, it's part of Marvel canon. I'm excited to see it. So as the MCU, the cinematic universe canon. But the fact that it's a 90s movie and it's got Samuel Jackson as like he's the second person, like the it's him and Brie Larson. So it's like I'm excited. I'm excited to see them. I think it's gonna be like a buddy cop film, and I love those kind of movies.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. You know, Venom kind of got the same kind of backlash at the very beginning as well as like Captain Marvel is getting, because people were kind of bagging on Venom, and then most people that went and saw Venom, they walked out and said, you know what, that wasn't that bad. You know, it was so funny to see that reaction before it actually hit, and everyone's like, that's not gonna be good. And then they hear these reviews, and the reviews kind of sound similar. Then you find out that these people didn't even see the movie that they're doing the reviews, and then you go see the movie and they come out and say, you know what, that wasn't that bad of a movie. And here Venom's gone on to be one of the top Marvel movies, or you know, it's not owned by Disney or whatnot, but you know what I mean. It did extremely well.
Definitely revitalized Sony's position in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
So absolutely. No, I'm excited. I'm excited. A lot of my favorite content creators have been making some really, really good Miss Marvel content, themed Miss Marvel content. And I'll give a shout out to some bigger creators like the mainstream ones that I follow. Big fan of Variant Comics, who has a really cool Nick Fury video that came out. Also, he's got a scroll video out that's super helpful. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's gonna be some Miss Marvel content coming out very soon.
I think I was watching his live stream yesterday, and he said that has content coming out tomorrow. So make sure you check out that tomorrow. Should be very interesting. You know, I always like his input on that stuff, and you know, he seems like a pretty good dude. I know you got a chance to meet him one time and stuff. I missed out. You know, I don't know what was going on, but great channel, great information. The guy's really on point. So check it out tomorrow. I don't know what time he drops it, but should be a lot of fun.
I hear that he's got a video tomorrow. It's going to be dropping in the afternoon that everyone should be checking out about Miss Marvel. It should be pretty good. All right, comic book community, we hit that hour. Bueller, it's been fun. I like having these conversations with you. I'm super interested in continuing these conversations with you as we evolve our show.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I got one last thing. I want to give a quick shout out to someone real quick. I just got a really great act of kindness from someone in the mail, and I'm going to go into detail in one of my other videos. But this gentleman has sent me this stack of books right here.
Look at that Moon Knight. Ooh, I see that in your hand.
Oh, yeah. And these are all donated books that are going into the Bueller boxes that are going to go on sale this probably Friday or Saturday. And then he always sends me a book for my personal collection, and he knows I'm an X-Men fan, and he sent me this X-Men number 49.
Oh, that's Steranko goodness.
Oh, I know. I saw that on there, and it's just such great. And this is my friend Steve. He's donated so many books to the Bueller boxes, and you know, it's just really cool to be able to send those out. But I'm happy to have this in here. I think I saw him in the chat earlier and stuff. But dude, Steve, thanks again, buddy.
That cover, man.
Yeah,
I love that book.
Steranko stuff, man, can't be beat.
That 50. Oh,
yep.
He's so good. He's so good. What did the guru say in one of it's in a recent video? It comes out this week. I should probably run that down real quick. We had a Not 10 list come out yesterday. So for those of you who haven't seen that video, it's available for you to watch. We did our Not Hot 10 list yesterday, and it was super exciting because we weren't expecting to get that list that soon, but the response was epic. CBSI was like, oh, we got to keep doing this. Obviously, like they were worried that the community didn't really want it, you know, but I was like, how would they not want more information?
I like that stuff. I like the not top 10 list because it's the books. I believe that those are probably the books you should buy because they're cold, and you should always buy low. And then so I remember I made a video one time when I was doing like, oh, you should invest in these books. And I'm not very good at that. That's why I don't really do them anymore. But it was on DC books. And the guy's like, why would anyone want to invest in these? The movies aren't doing well. And my response was, now's the time to buy them because they're cheap. Don't buy them when they're at the peak of popularity because you'll be paying top dollar. And we just talked about that this whole show. So there you go.
Absolutely. So it kind of fits, right? You know, the not hot 10 list it's not. I mean, I want to make sure it's clear. Just because we're talking about it on that list doesn't mean that you should buy anything. I mean, it's all up to you and what you want to buy. But yeah, buying low is the best time to buy the comic books. And these are a bunch of comic books that definitely have seen a drop. And not every comic book has seen a drop because it's going to stay low. And it's just, you know, CBSI's effort to try to keep you up on that info. And they're putting time into it to do it more, which is super exciting because these are all volunteers over there. So they're putting in their time and effort to provide free content for the community. So I can't recommend them enough for doing it. And I appreciate them for providing us that extra list here. a month in. So it looks like I got a whole nother series that's going to be developed every month. We're going to try to keep up on the not hot 10 list. So that's going to be there right now. It's available right now for you to check out. Please do so. Let us know in the comment section, because, you know, they're going to be, I imagine over at CBSI, because they're doing this more work, that they want to see the response. So if you go and comment and you like that video, you go let them know by hitting their website, joining their community, following them on Instagram, following Mr. Bolo on Instagram, following Ben on Instagram. Like they're there. All the links are in our description of those videos. That lets them know that we're helping send people their way, and that's going to incent them to keep on making great content. And that also helps us, make more videos. So I definitely encourage your response on that particular video, because we're looking for the community's response. Then today, of course, you got this video right now you're watching. Tomorrow, I have a True First video, Bueller. We're back. We're back, baby.
Everybody loves those.
Oh my gosh. There's been some issues about the True First video, but I got to say, it's definitely been one of the most requested video series. I haven't done a video in like 3 weeks, a True First video, and it's been far too long, but it's simply been because there hasn't been any time this month. I've been down an editor, as Bueller said, and Slav, he's coming back from India this week. So I got packed content from now until next week. And when Slav comes back, we could be cranking out even more stuff. So look out tomorrow, because we got a fun True First video. I think you're going to really like it. I showed some people who aren't even really into comics, and they were busting up laughing, enjoying it. And that typically tells me that if people who don't like comics like it, the people who do like the comics and are going to really understand all the jokes and references that we make, you guys are going to love it. So don't miss out on that video tomorrow. Then on Thursday, we got the guru here to break down the honorable mentions list for last month. We're a couple days behind on that, but it's coming out on Thursday. It's already released, or excuse me, it's already made. It's waiting on YouTube to be released, but it's going to be released on Thursday, because Friday we do have our second week of the top 10 to release. We have gauntlet videos over the weekend, and we got a lot of big changes coming to the channel. What do I mean by big changes? I mean just more content, better content, and more consistent content you're going to want to be hitting that subscribe button for. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. And the last thing, Bueller, thank you for joining me on the premiere of the most recent videos. What are your thoughts about what's going on with us premiering videos the way we have been as of late?
I like it. You're doing your live stream tomorrow, right? You forgot to mention that.
I have the live stream tomorrow, and it's going to be a special live stream. It's probably not going to be for the full hour, because I will be at Russ's shop. We are doing the massive mail call assembly for the first time at his shop. So I want to show off the shop. I want to be there. He's going to be there. He'll probably be on live for the first time on Wednesday that he's ever been live on the show. And we'll probably have to go into his office and low key just make a show there. So I'm not sure how the quality of the show or how long it's going to be, but it's going to be at his new shop, his new location. So I'm excited to do it there. Yeah.
Well, very cool. That'll be nice.
But I was asking about the premiere, something we've been doing differently.
You like doing those premieres? I did one on Monday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was interesting. Oh my
goodness. Well, I can tell you one thing. If you premiere it at 5 a.m., it's probably not going to be that useful.
Well, the reason why I did it, it was funny, because the reason why I did a premiere, because I was up till the whole time. It actually didn't get finished uploading till 4:30 in the morning. So I was like, I might as well just do a premiere because I'm already up.
Yeah, just wait there for people to show up.
Yeah, and we had 50 people watching at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning. I thought that was kind of fun, and for the coffee video, which is just kind of my talk show type thing.
I like that it's in the morning so early. I feel like there's you do that long enough, you're gonna start getting this really large group of people who are just I gotta wake up, I gotta have my coffee, I gotta turn Bueller on.
I don't want to have to wake up at 5 in the morning.
Do you not do it every day at the same time? When you do your coffee video, rather?
Well, yeah, it comes out at 5, but I'm usually sleeping by that time.
Oh, I see. So you're not up live because it's produced. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's produced. Yeah, so I mean, the reason it's 5 here is because it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and that's why. So we get the short end of the stick on that one. So who's up at 5 o'clock on a Monday in the morning?
So my thought was, I wanted to try this premiere the video, and you know what? I premiered our top 10 video, and I didn't really understand what premiering it did, but it opens up the chat for everybody. So what ends up happening is the chat fills up prior to the video launching. And then when the video does launch, everybody's waiting together in one place and watching it live at the same time. So my goal now, I like the idea of premiering our videos every day. I like the idea of doing it because what ends up happening is, Bueller, we broke records for our channel. We hit over 300 people watching at one point. At one time, a video that I, took the time to edit and took all day to put together. And it was awesome because I was in the chat at, I went and got some food, got some teriyaki, and like watched our video with the community. And it was an awesome feeling. So thank you to everybody who watched on the premiere over this last couple days on the videos that we've released, the edited videos rather. I really do appreciate you watching and being there at release. That's a special type of appreciation there. Like, holy smokes, Bueller thanked you for your time, but like we're talking about investments, we're talking about comic books, we're talking about spending money on expensive paper, and time is the most valuable commodity. And I gotta say, I do appreciate everybody here, to everyone in the chat for joining us today and for taking the time to spend watching our other videos. We like making them for you, and by you watching them, we keep it going.
That's right.
All right. Any last words, Bueller? Besides, please hit that like button. We're at the end of the video. If you hit that like button, it'll help us. It'll help the channel, help the video.
That's right. Last words. Like you said, hit the like button. I want to say thanks, Tom, for having me on again. If you guys haven't checked out my channel, it's Comics with Bueller. It's very easy to find. My lovely face is on almost every single video. And my video tomorrow, the new comic book video, will be first thing out tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. That's a pretty big video, and everybody likes to watch it. I think I probably have more covers of that new Batman book that's coming out than anyone else has been able to find.
Is that tomorrow?
No, not Detective. It's that new Batman, like the Batman/Punisher wannabe type guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah, from the Batman Who Laughs. That
one.
Yeah, that looks pretty dope. I'm excited about that. People have been asking, like, what if Batman went Punisher style? Well,
that's it right there. I found a ton of covers, and I don't think you're probably going to find anywhere else. And those are on the video. And that video is kind of cool because I'm doing giveaways, weekly giveaways on that video now. All you do is leave a comment on that video, and you get a chance to win one of my Bueller boxes. So please check that out tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And of course, I got all my other stuff that I normally do. But this is fun, Tom. Good conversation. Sorry, I was a little under the weather. And,
I didn't even notice it, Bueller. I mean, you brought the heat.
No, I was lacking. but I had a good time, man. I appreciate it, Tom.
Well, hey, thank you so much, everybody in the chat. We do appreciate your time today. We got a lot of great channels here on YouTube. You're gonna give me that info after the fact. So post this gets up there because we have to get this through Google Hangouts. It gets loaded to the channel, and then I go through, upload the thumbnail, and now I'm gonna make sure that those links are available. So you may want to come on back to this video at some point so you can go and follow all these channels that we mentioned if they're not already in the description.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, comic book community. We do appreciate your time, as always.
You want me to say it? Geek responsibly.
Enough said, peeps.